and welcome to Spotlight on the Arts. I'm Patrick Christiano, your host. This is Truman, the new addition to my family, and I'm the publisher of TheaterLife.com, a website for theater buffs covering all things theater. And I have a really special guest today, my friend Kate Mueth, the founder and artistic director of Neo-Political Cowgirls. Kate, thank you so much for coming. It's a pleasure to have
Thank
you.
you for having me. Thank you, Truman.
We're going to try to get him to calm down. That's why we brought him up here for
I
a
don't think
minute.
he's going to calm down. He's very excited about life.
But he's learning because we've done a few shows, so I
You've
think
got cookies in your pocket.
and I think he may calm down.
I calm down for cookies, absolutely.
So Kate, you've got so much going on right now. Oh my God! First of all, you're doing a project here at LTV, St. Kilda, which we want to talk about, and it's going to happen on Thursday, and it's a ghost story mystery. It sounds really cool. And this summer you did Midsummer Night's Dream at the Mulford Farm, which you're going to bring to here in New York, which is really exciting.
Thank you.
So-
Thank you. It's crazy because it becomes, in these days, these odd days, these challenging days, it becomes a question sometimes of like, why are we doing this? People are in a very interesting state of sleep still, slowly working their way back into places that they want to be. And the theater, across the country right now is not really getting the activation, the audience, drive back that we really need. So, working on massaging that exploration again for what it means to be at live theater. And I think if anything, after, it's not even like we're out of it, but with COVID and the pandemic and the lockdown that I'm hoping, the silver lining is how much we need being in space and time together with fellow humans and what that looks like and what that means and how do we do that. I think it's important that we start really getting back on track with the richness of live theater, live storytelling. You guys are prolific with Theater Life. I love
thank you. You're really
how
kind.
you really promote and amplify live theater. So thank you for doing that.
Well, I somehow it's something I felt like it's important to me. Theater is like a church to me, believe it or not. And it's a reflection of life, and I feel like it's supposed to help us, show us ways, show us the errors of our ways, show us the things that we need to know, to learn, to move forward, to be better people all the time. But you do this all the time. You're terrific. Now, what do you want to talk about first? Your project coming up at LTV, or
Yeah, let's talk about, St. Kilda, which is really, LTV is kindly producing that.
they're so cool.
Michael and all of the team here is just
Michael's
really
extraordinary.
been helpful, and it's exciting to be working with him. So LTV is really the lead producer on this. Neo-Political Cowgirls are the associate producers.
Did you bring
this.
it to them? Did you pitch it to them?
Yes.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he said yes, and so here we are. And Jodie Christofferson is the actress and the writer of the piece. Now, this piece, which I have yet to see live, I just know of it via video, and knowing Jodie as a theater peer, this piece has traveled the world since 2018.
How did you come to be associated
I've been
with it?
watching her, and I've been
All
watching.
this time?
Yeah.
Since its inception?
This is what I do. Is I stalk, particularly women playwrights, women
That are talented,
theater
gifted, and-
makers. Yeah, that's my church. Theater, yes, and but I'm really passionate and curious about women and BIPOC and marginalized, and LGBTQ theater makers, people who are telling these stories that need to be told. And what we do, Neo-Political Cowgirls, we are devised theater makers, but also we, when we are able to produce or amplify, share the work of other people who haven't had the luxury of holding the pen of the stories that we see on stage for hundreds, thousands of years. And in America, we're still not seeing enough of these. And there's been great movement on this front. The thing that kind of concerns me, though, is that how the pendulum swings, right? Where if it's only been white patriarchy telling their stories, getting their stories on Broadway or anywhere else.
Broadway is a great example.
It's a great example. But when we start to swing back the other side, often we go,
I know.
and then where does it settle?
And then we're at that other end of the spectrum
We're at
right
that
now,
other end.
where it's like, and a lot of it's not the
Right.
best.
And a lot of it's not the best, but a lot of it wasn't the best either on the other end.
Exactly.
So, but they always got produced, and
Right.
they still get produced. The women's work in the theater is underproduced and under financially supported.
So that's what gravitated to this, because it's a woman's piece.
Well, we're
right now.
considered, high risk.
So tell us what it's about.
Well, it's a ghost story about a woman, woman who goes with a map to go back to Scotland to investigate.
It's
this
set in an
story.
island off the coast of Scotland. Is that right?
Scotland. Yeah.
An island?
Oh, an island. I'm sorry, I thought you said Ireland. Yeah, and if you look at, there's been a great article that Annette Hinkle wrote with Jodie, interviewing her. It's a long one. It's really exciting and wonderful, really rich in terms of what you learn about this particular island, and that no one usually goes.
You learn this in the show?
You learn this in the show.
Wow.
Yeah, and for us, it's just really, again, important to center women storytellers.
No, but she does something very interesting. She does all this.
Yeah.
She has all these instruments that are not real musical instruments, that are
Foley. She does Foley sound design live in the moment as she's telling.
I didn't even know what Foley was.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, you start go researching, because that's.
I didn't know until this came before me. So
Yeah.
because
Radio shows, right? Foley became really popular a long time ago when radio shows were happening, and so slamming of a door, two blocks of wood, and but she does this live, and she's also a wonderful musician. And so there was a bit of research that she did in resurfacing particular music from this particular archipelago that she's talking about. And so, she does the Foley design, and it's a one-woman show. She comes with her stuff, she plugs it in, and there she is. And she's really she's such a professional, and she's done this in festivals all over. She's just recently been at the Edmonton
how cool.
festival, where rave reviews, people respond really strongly in positive. They love the creepiness of it. There's also some humor in there. So I think it's great to have grown-up ghost stories.
I wish I was going to be. We're not going to be here Thursday, because I wanted to come and see it, but we have to go back into town, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and how long is it, the piece?
It's an hour.
It's an hour.
Yeah.
And you're going to make the evening into a dance festive. Is there dancing afterwards?
No.
I read that I must have got that.
No.
So it's just it's Thursday.
You can dance if you want to. I mean, I'm not going to, shut anyone down for dancing. But we do have some beer. There'll be Springs Brewery beer available for purchase, and some wine, which, it's nice to have a little softness there. Maybe you do something else in the parking lot before you come in. I don't know. But it's just, I think, it's the season, right?
So it's Thursday, and it's
Thursday,
7:30.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. And how do you get tickets?
LTVEH.org.
Okay, ltveh.org for St. Kilda, which is Thursday, this Thursday.
This Thursday, the 27th.
Yeah, the 27th. Wow.
Exciting.
So is she here yet? Has she arrived yet?
She arrives Wednesday. She'll be staying with Josh and
Oh, how
me.
cool.
And she was just in Boston with the show, and I think it was BU, and teaching around,
She teaches too?
well, the way some of us do, right, in teaching artistry. So if I'm bringing a project to a university, part of that performance might require also having a workshop with students, right, students of the theater, or incorporating them in some way into the production or talking to them afterwards about the production. So she just did that up at BU. Yeah.
So how long has this piece been in existence?
2018 was when she started touring.
But she had then pandemic kind of closed down everything with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if she did anything online. She might have. But, you know, she's been to Edinburgh. She's been, you know, she's gone all over with it. She's
Oh,
placed-
how exciting! How exciting to bring
It's
that to
great.
East Hampton and LTV
Thank you.
after it's been all over the world. How
Yeah,
cool!
thank you.
Yeah, and thank you LTV for bringing it to us too.
absolutely.
But now you've got something that you're going the Midsummer Night's Dream that you did at the Mulford Farm this summer. You did it for 2 nights, was it?
Yeah, so it was, you know, our intentions were to do it as a full production. And the funding that we needed, we weren't able to secure in time. Shakespeare's a big thing to do. It's a big cast, and then housing. So housing out here is just
Oh,
prohibitive,
especially in the
and you
summer.
can't. We couldn't, you know, and I don't, you know, it's hard for any group. We've seen it all over the place where if you're trying to get artists from anywhere else, you know, there's no housing. We can't, one, afford it, but it's also just nothing's there. And so we were looking at, you know, 14 performers who were coming from the city for, it would have been for, you know, 5 weeks. So
Right.
it's not like it's a weekend.
And 5 weeks is minimum. You really
Yeah, well, we would have been rehearsing. We were rehearsing in the city, and then
Oh, that's why,
and then
okay.
coming out here to rehearse for 2 weeks. But so we turned it into a 2-night script in hand, but really beautifully designed, lights, costumes, set, with just designers that I love working with. You know, Yuka Silvera, Sebastian Batinsky, Mariana Sanchez, who is a remarkable set designer. We're so lucky to have her. She lives in this community. She's from Mexico. She is just remarkable. I found my soul sister there with her.
Well, the photos look fabulous. You want to show them
Thank
the
you.
pictures now?
Yeah,
You want to
yeah,
wait?
sure.
So we have some pictures from this production that Kate did at the Mulford Farm. So Matt, could we? Here's the first one. Tell us what this is. This is?
These are the fairies. The fairies. So we had a fairy squad, and we had them from a small child all the way up to an adult, almost like Russian dolls, you know, coming through.
Now, was it at nighttime? Because I thought was it?
It's
It
at
started-
night, but it was outdoors. So the lovely thing about doing that is Mother Nature, you know, conspires with us. So it starts when it's light out.
Okay, that's what
And
happened.
then we set it at just a certain time and tune.
You did
with
that
the-
intentionally.
Yeah,
Oh, very
absolutely.
smart. Yeah, because I love these. I love the night photos. It's fabulous.
The night, and so the magic. There's John Croft and Stephanie Ortiz, and playing Lysander and Hermia, and yeah. So it's like really wonderful because by the time it ends, it's like, oh my gosh, it's dark, and then you've got these lights that are slowly creeping up and showing themselves. And these are the fairies coming into contact with Puck, who's laying on the ground.
And this is earlier in the
Yes, this is
before the light has
earlier.
changed.
And Puck, we have played by here Sarah Giacomini. Yeah, so we had
Now-
tried. This is the end where, so the opening of this play, we have, you know, we've devised around this. It's not in our mission to do Shakespeare. It's not in our mission to do dead white guys plays. And there's a, you know, a reason that came to us that we
Now you could take the image down.
had to, got to, I should say, explore Shakespeare. As you know, Josh and I are, you know, Shakespearean
I know
people
you.
together.
Shakespeare's the best.
But we decided to, I wanted to look at this, say, how can we play with this? And who's the dreamer? Who dreams this dream, right? And it's not like I'm doing this for the first time. There's been, you know, Julie Taymor has Puck as the dreamer. But I wanted to have a new character put in as the dreamer. So for me,
You put in a different character. You picked a different character to be the dreamer. Which?
yeah, I made the dreamer. I made the dreamer an actual character that's not in the play
Okay,
as
that's what I
Shakespeare
figured.
wrote it. So she is a 13-year-old girl on the cusp of womanhood. Like literally before she has this dream, she's on the cusp of getting her period. You don't necessarily know that. We're not telling you that. But as we continue to progress with the devising of this piece, we're going to play more heavily into the psyche of a girl who's about to cross the bridge into being a woman. And so, we have it set up where we added a sort of a dumb show set to music of this young girl coming into the picture and seeing the world around her of couples and what that looks like and what that, her perception of that. And she's completely enraptured with romance novels. And so we set that up, and she goes to sleep on her bed and begins to have this dream. And every single character comes out of the belly of the bed. So all of the entrances of every character is from underneath this bed. And then they slowly, one by one, go back in at the end. And what you were seeing on that last photo was all of the characters dancing together after the play within a play, right before they say Theseus is like back to bed. Here we go. And then they all go back to bed. And then the dreamer who has traveled, who's sleptwalked into her own dream earlier, is left there at the end, the only one in her dream. And she's now wearing Titania's crown, and she is looking out. And so, we have so much more
It's so beautiful.
devising to do around this. And this psychology of a young girl. I'm really fascinated about the psychology of a young girl of this age and what it means, not only from a societal view onto her psyche, but from the deep psyche of like Puck is that place of I don't know if you've seen any of our other work, but the goddess Baobo, right, who is the trickster. She's the one who likes to make jokes and does naughty things, and Puck is that. And we're playing with Puck as sort of the Baobo-esque psyche of the young girl, of that being her braver self, that being the one who wants to launch out, and
The one with the courage.
and to go, comes from the darkness and brings the darkness into the light, and the clown, right? Yeah.
It's almost like Judy, in Wizard of Oz, where she's gone away and she's come back and changed by the whole experience.
Transformation, right? And I think, like with women, particularly with girls, young girls, going into their menses cycles, we don't have healthy rituals in this country of honoring that and what that means and how to celebrate a young girl becoming a woman. I think some mothers, some maybe more enlightened mothers, do have these beautiful rituals of celebration, but it's not a societal one. It's not something we have in our customs, or it's something that's
kind of dark, and it's something we don't talk about that much.
We don't talk about it. It's called dirty. And around the world, we have certain places and where in countries it's women have to go away, and they are literally considered dirty. So we're not that. I'm not a fan of banging people on the head with my messages. I prefer to let them come through deep images in my storytelling,
Right.
and to let them till the soil so that the seeds can take, right, so that your audiences can leave with some thought and some courage to go, oh, what did that mean to me? What did that mean to you? Oh, is that what that meant? Did that represent that? Right? So trying to
You open the doors for discussion.
Yeah. That's, to me, what the power of story is, right? I'm a big fan of Clarissa Pinkola Estes, who is a Jungian psychologist, and she really leads the way with that, with myth and storytelling, to help us find our place really in our own lives and recognize ourselves in these stories. So so working on demystifying and escalating the fear around women's bodies, and for those girls as well, because what happens in our society imprints upon the psyche of a young girl and how she feels about her own body and about what it means to become a woman.
Everything that's a part of the story becomes imprinted and affects how you ultimately behave, or what the choices. Ultimately, the choices you make is what it is. It's not the behavior; it's the choices you make is what it affects. So without knowing your story and owning it, you don't have the power to change it.
That's right.
We how did you cast all these wonderful people? Where did you go to do? What did you do?
We held casting sessions in the city.
Okay.
And we're going to be tweaking and doing some.
Will you use the same
some-
cast again?
Some of them, yeah, some of them.
And what are the dates that it's going to be at here? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
okay.
let's get it out there.
It is, sorry, I just always have to make sure I got my months right. The last 2 weeks in April and the first week in May.
So it's going to be 3 weeks? Oh, how fabulous.
Thank you.
So it's going to be, it's a real full run then.
Yeah. And we're, figuring out then, do we bring it back east? There's a couple potential, I can't talk about it yet, but a couple potential places for that to happen. But fundraising, we're now Neoplaco Cowgirls, we're at our year-end fundraising where these things, I always say theater is a very, very hefty price tag of a craft, and it is. I don't think a lot of people understand just how expensive it is. But the thing that we realized, we are a nomad company. We don't have a home base in terms of a space, a building.
Right.
So when the pandemic came, we thankfully didn't have to keep a space alive, which was great. And so in thinking about that, we're like, wait a minute, this is also brings the awareness that anytime someone donates to the Neoplaco Cowgirls, that money goes directly into people in programming. It goes to pay artists. It goes to actually the work. Anything that if you gave
you do so much. You do so much
right?
for the girl. You have we're getting short on time, and we have a segment that I want to show from the Midsummer Night's Dream from last year. It's when Puck meets the fairies.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's when Puck meets the fairies. So it's about a 3-minute piece. So we have about 5 minutes. So let's
Sure.
Matt, can we have that piece so that people can? This is going to be it here. This Evolve production.
And Evolve, yeah, this is a workshop production. Yeah.
How now, spirits? Whither wander you? Over hill, over dale, through bush, through briar, over park, over pale, through flood, through fire. We do wander everywhere, swiftly than the moon sphere. And we serve the fairy queen to do her orbs upon the green. We must go seek some dewdrops here, and hang a pearl in every cowslip's ear. Farewell, thou dumb spirit. We'll be gone. Our queen and all her elves come here anon. The king! Right. Take heed, the queen come not within his sight, for over on his passing fell and wrath. Because that she, as her attendant, hath the lovely boy stolen from an Indian king. Oh, she never had so sweet a changeling. And jealous Oberon would have the boy, knight of his train, to trace the forest wild. But she withholds the boy, crowns him with flowers, and makes him all her joy.
Do you need more?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Ah, that's very interesting. So this is your workshop production, and you're gonna keep working on it.
Yeah, this was a workshop production. This had the fairy squad. It was so much fun because we had a lot of local young girls in this. Two of the performers in the fairy squad were from the city. One was Mary Minardi, who is the grown woman, and then the teenager, Layla Kleiman is her name. And she worked with us last year as an intern. And the rest of the girls were from here. And so we probably had 6 Sunday rehearsals across a month and a half with those girls. And with the whole company, we had just 2 in-person rehearsals with everybody, a couple
Wow.
Zoom rehearsals, that's it.
I don't know how you do a Zoom rehearsal. I really don't.
Well, when one of your
God bless
cast
you.
members has COVID, that's what you have to do.
I
right?
understand.
Yeah.
There's so
mean,
many things you have to do, so many adjustments we have to
it's like
make.
duck and weave, and that's just okay. That's what it is,
Yeah,
right?
it
But
has to be.
we were supposed to be in the city with the whole cast for 2 very long days of rehearsals, and one of our castmates got COVID. So
Do you remember the dates again when it's going to be at here?
here it's the 3rd and 4th week of April and the 1st week of May.
And how many performances do you know?
We are looking at about six a week.
6 a week, so you'll do almost 18 performances. So you'll be eligible for awards.
Thank you for noting that. Yes, yes. And we've got some recasting. We're going to do a lot more devising and lots of dance and physical attack to it.
Oh, how cool! How cool!
Thank you.
And then now this Thursday, Kate is going to be here with St. Kilda.
St. Kilda and Jodie Christofferson. Yeah.
And you can get your tickets at ltveh.org for St. Kilda this Thursday at 7:00.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for coming to do this.
Thank you for having me.
Is there anything else? We have actually a minute. We have, if you want to tell us anything else that's.
You can find out more about what we're doing at
yes.
npcowgirls.org, npcowgirls.org. We have little free food pantries, 5 of them around the East End here, where you can donate or receive non-perishable food 24/7, anytime. We have educational workshops that we're doing.
That's what I was going to talk about, your workshops. You do
Yeah.
so many different
Thank
workshops for the
you.
children. And I mean, if you go to her website, you probably have all this listed there that they can find out what's happening with you
Yeah.
and how to participate. Kate is just, she's extraordinary. It's
are
my
you.
pleasure to know you and to.
Likewise. We appreciate the support. This is everything, and thank you for helping us share the word about all that we do.
And thank you for coming. We're going to have to do it again.
Let's do it again soon.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Thank you, Kate.